It's really such a pleasure to be here. I'm not only at about an event that's about science communication, but particularly about science communication in quantum. I think this is the first one that I've encountered, so thank you very much for having me. So my name is Jenny Hogan. I work in the Center for Quantum Technologies in Singapore, and today I'm going to talk to you about camps, online courses, and creativity, or how we've tried to match intensity to curiosity in some of the quantum outreach programs that we've designed. So just first, I'm going to stop and reflect on the title of the event. It's about communicating quantum science and technology to the public. But I think those of us who do outreach know one of the first questions we want to ask ourselves is, who is your public? So I am going to give my talk with the help of three fictional friends. So I would like you to meet them here, Angelina, Jibo, and Sinyi. So Angelina is someone very young, scientifically curious, and still in school. So for the Angelinas of the world, we've created a structured and in-person program. Jibo's a little different. Maybe he's a working adult. Maybe he's heard something about quantum computing and he wants to learn a bit, or maybe he's really interested in hoping to make a career change. For this self-improver, career changer, we've created an online learning platform. And last but not least, let me introduce Sinyi. So she's, quantum what? Maybe she's watched the Marvel movies, maybe she's read a book that had a quantum plot twist. And for this audience, we have cultural encounters. So with their help, I'm going to bring them and you to see what we've done in Singapore over the past few years. So I don't know if any of you have had the chance to visit. I might be confusing you by sounding English, but I've called Singapore home for more than 15 years now. And it's a big modern city, beautiful nature. Of course, the reason I'm here, there's a very big and strong quantum research community. So actually last year, Singapore announced its national quantum strategy. It's a 5-year program with almost 300 million investment in scientific excellence. All the elements you'd expect. Engineering capabilities, enterprise, and talent. Some of the younger ones in the audience, we have a scholarship scheme that's open to all nationalities for PhDs and master programs. And this is coordinated by a national quantum office. So the center I work at the Center for Quantum Technologies, is much older than this strategy. We've actually been around since 2007, and we're one of the initiatives supported by it as a national center. So we're spread across 3 universities and a few research institutes. Just to give you a sense of the scale, we have more than 260 staff and students. 95 of those are PhD students, and they're spread across 35 different research groups. So research is, of course, the center's main goal. And I'm sorry, I'm actually not going to talk that much about the research that we do today. If you want to hear about our quantum research, then please come and find me in the breaks. We do the whole spectrum: quantum communication, computing, sensing, building the instruments that make this cutting-edge research possible, and of course, very importantly, doing the basic science that will bring us the technologies of the future. And this is part of a bigger picture. So we support some of the more translational programs under Singapore's national quantum strategy, and we have a role in looking after Singapore's quantum ecosystem as a whole. And that is where you can see the outreach right down here. So our goals in outreach specifically are to spark the interest in quantum careers and to encourage this dialogue about how quantum technologies are going to affect society. So as Michelle said too, for her team, the public engagement is not everything that we do. So just to give you a quick overview of the kinds of things that we look after. So our outreach team, we manage the center's website. That includes sharing lots of news about our research and events. We also do social media. Please follow us at Quantum La. LinkedIn is our biggest channel. I think we have about 15,000 followers there now. We support the scientific events that our center hosts. Any of you interested in quantum computing, you might like to come for the Quantum Techniques and Machine Learning Conference later this year. We do a lot of ad hoc outreach, so this is talks, visits, bringing scientific demos out to science festivals. And last but not least, we also support media relations. I'm just going to pause on this for a second. Last year, we had the opportunity to participate in a documentary that Bloomberg filmed about quantum computing. So the presenter, Hannah Fry, came to interview our professor who had been working on quantum satellites. And this had incredible reach. So last I checked, I think it's crossed 6 million views. So the number of people who've seen that exceeds the number of people that we're able to reach through our programs. But I want to come back to these characters that we're reaching out to and tell you a little bit more about what we do for them. Okay, so first, let's start with Angelina. And I'm going to send Angelina to Q Camp. So QCamp is an annual summer camp that we've been holding since 2015. It's only open to students in Singapore. It's in person. They tend to be 16 to 19, so the upper end of high school. And they come to us very curious, and we meet them with a really intense program. So QCamp started as a 5-day program. We were being so inundated with applications that last year we launched a 1-day version trying to accommodate more students. So we just held this camp a couple of weeks ago in June. So we had approaching 80 students across the two of them. So when the students arrive, this is what they're told the goals of QCamp are, that we want to develop their intuition, we are going to build their technical foundation, but even more important than the learning, it's trying to give the participants the feeling that they can thrive in the field. And during the week, it's very open to conversations, exploring perspectives and motivations. So if any of you are involved in planning or organizing camps, I'm sharing here our timetable for the week. We've evolved this over these 11 years to a point where it's, I think, found a really nice balance between the learning and the fun. So there's a mixture of lectures and tutorials, hands-on activities and lab visits. The fun parts come in. We have a social evening. We invite our QCamp alumni to come back for that. We have an activity on the end day that's a kind of adventure quest across the building full of puzzles that the students really enjoy. And for our, to acknowledge our outreach goals, we really have some explicit parts of the program that talk about careers. So there's a panel where people meet quantum scientists who've gone into different types of jobs, and they have the chance to ask them questions. And we also have these discussion circles that are facilitated small group discussions where students choose whether they want to explore topics like careers or ethics, and also some more fun things like popular culture or philosophy. So I have a very short video, just so you can experience some of what the students experience. So I'll let this play. Before the students are allowed to go home after the camp, we ask them to fill in a survey so that we can collect some feedback about what kind of impact that we're having. So I'm going to share the data that we got just this month. So we asked them lots of questions, but I'm sharing here just the answers to 2 of them. So one is a really simple, just tell us how good you thought the camp was. And for QCamp consistently, we find the students rate it really very highly. For Flash QCamp, the 1-day event, we have a little more room for improvement. Students come with more of a mixed background, so I think we're also just finding it harder to please everybody. And then on the right-hand side, this is what students choose to say when we ask them to describe their experience of the camp in 1 word. So what has made QCamp work for us? I mean, it is deliberately an intense program. It's all in person. So the fact that it's immersive is really important. But I'd also like to give a big shout out to the volunteers. So QCamp is organized by a committee of mostly PhD students. I mean, it's evolved over the years. And the teaching is also mostly by PhD students and postdocs. I think we see the strength of the interaction that they have with the students in the feedback that we get. So this is more feedback from the students. So the instructors were so passionate, they made them enjoy physics. They made friends, and the students make friends with each other. And I understand that GOAT is greatest of all time, but this comment proves that I didn't make these up, because I would not have known how to use GOATed in a sentence. Now, I also want to share some limitations. So if you are doing outreach, you'll know there are, of course, challenges. So this is a huge undertaking for us to organize. We plan it on approximately 6 months ahead. And of course, during the week, it's a big commitment for everyone involved. It's not easy to scale, and we have decided not to try because of the intensity that we want to keep. And we don't have a lot of visibility for long-term outcomes. So Michelle shared some lovely stories about that. So we also have some anecdotal evidence of the impact that we make being long-term. So I'm introducing you to Shaik. He is a PhD student in our center who was a volunteer at QCamp this year, but he actually first came to us as a participant in QCamp in 2017, so almost 10 years ago. And he told us, yes, it was that experience that made me think research could be a career for me. Okay, but next I'm going to move on to Jibo. So he's the curious adult. And for him, we have Quantum Talent. Now, this is an online learning platform that's supported through Singapore's National Quantum Computing Hub, and the staff who work on this are housed in our Centre for Quantum Technologies. So this platform deliberately sets out to try and work for a wide range of audiences, so people from beginners to experts, coming from different backgrounds. This is a much newer initiative. It's been around for just a few years. So they're slowly building up the content, but they already have over 100 videos. This is a mix of single topic lectures and courses with interactive quiz elements. So coming from a research center, we're really setting out to be high quality and free of hype so that it can be a trusted resource. The people filming these materials, they're a mix of our researchers, collaborators, and people from industry. So I'm going to just let you see a little bit of the website. Maybe you'll spot some videos or courses that you're interested in. Okay, so you saw there's a great big range of content, types of material and lessons. I found out in our top 10 videos so far, these are 2 of the most watched. And so here you really see the kind of different levels of curiosity that we're reaching. So on the left, this is a professor lecturing at approximately undergraduate level an introduction to quantum mechanics. And on the right, it's a very cute short animation about Schrodinger's cat that was made in collaboration with some high school students. Now, as an initiative, an online learning platform like this, once we've created the materials, they really live for a long time, and potentially they can reach an unlimited audience size. You know, the challenge is producing the material, of course, is a big undertaking, and because this is newer, I think we feel we have a lot more work to do to actually reach the learners that could benefit. Okay, so last but not least, Sinyi, our casually curious audience member. So for Sinyi, we have an initiative called Quantum Shorts. So this is one of the projects that I've been involved in for the longest time. So Quantum Shorts is an international contest series for short film and short fiction that take creative inspiration from quantum physics. And we have run it from 2012 to 2024 with a big range of international partners. And for this year, for the International Year of Quantum, we've arranged Quantum Shorts Encore, which are film screenings of all the film winners from the past years. So I don't have time to show you the Quantum Shorts Encore screening, but I am going to share with you a trailer of the shortlisted entries to the film competition in 2013, so that you can see the really creative and weird and wonderful ways that people take quantum physics and turned it into video works. Okay. Are you able to play this one?
Are there many worlds? Hard to tell. The universe is full of wonderful mysteries.
When 2 particles are entangled, affect one of them and it will affect the other.
These films did earn us some media attention, and I particularly like this review that we had written up about those 2023 films you just saw the trailer for in Nature Physics. So the writer said these are promoting public engagement, and it reflects the multifaceted nature of quantum physics and its broad cultural impact. So it's not just us that thought that this would work. And I also want to tell you a little bit about the fiction. So every other year we were collecting short stories up to 1,000 words, and we collected all the shortlisted entries from the first few years in an anthology. This has also been reviewed. So we found this ebook is available in libraries. It's been collecting some reviews on Goodreads. Of course, I've picked out a 5-star one to share with you. You want to go and read the other reviews, you can find them online. But here we have a reader we don't know who's, again, picked up what we really hoped this initiative would achieve, that the stories are referencing the concepts from quantum physics in a way that won't lose the non-scientific reader, and also they're quick reads, so you don't have to make a big investment to get started with this. So, you're mostly scientists, I expect, so I'm sharing a few anecdotes, but you might say, well, where's the data? So we have tried to do a little bit more in-depth evaluation of how quantum shorts has had an impact. So I'm sharing here results from an audience survey that we did back in 2016. We wrote to all our newsletter subscribers, and we had about 120 people reply. So this is the set of answers to a question, how do the quantum shorts entries make you feel? And then it was multiple selection. So we were really relieved and heartened to see that, although they're very creative interpretations of quantum physics, it didn't end up making people feel confused or pessimistic. And as you see, the most popular reactions were to feel curious or more interested in art science, inspired, or realize how imaginative science is. So I'd said in my talk I was going to talk a little bit about the challenges of measuring the long-term impacts. And I think we have tried a few times since we did this survey to do more research on the impacts of quantum shorts. And we have difficulties like low response to surveys, or the way we set up the competition, we weren't collecting the right permissions from entrants to do real research on the data that we had. And I've spent a few minutes explaining why quantum shorts was really good. So now I have to tell you that actually quantum shorts encore is the end. So we've prepared the film screenings this year as something of a finale. And we also produced a second collection of short stories that was published just at the end of last year. So I have a copy here if you would like to see it later. And these are also available to download as free ebooks. So what was good about quantum shorts for us? Science is culture, and this really showed that. We had some fabulous entries over the years, and it was undemanding on our researchers, which I just want to explain. We love to have our scientists involved in outreach, and you saw that QCamp, the Quantum Talent, they are using the expertise of the people that we have in our research center. But we have to be mindful about how much time we take from them, that takes their time away from their science. And in quantum shorts, we could do it for 12 years because we only asked a little bit of them. So why have we ended it? Anyone who's thinking about running contests, I'd warn you that it's very unpredictable, right? The outcomes, and it's a lot of work to raise awareness to get entries. We were getting hundreds of entries. So part of the reason for us is just it's time to sort of pivot and focus on some new initiatives. But also, maybe in the next session, we're talking a little bit about generative AI. We did see in our last fiction competition a surge of entries that had been clearly written with some machine help. And we read or watch every single thing that comes in. So that much lower barrier to entry could have just made this unsustainable for us. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of my talk. You've met my fictional characters, Angelina, Jibo, and Sinyi, and seen the outreach programs that we've designed for them. And now I want to tell you about the real characters who were part of the big team that made all of this possible. And you're going to notice that my characters pay tribute to some of them. So on the left, it's the outreach team for the center. And Sinyi, my colleague, has done a lot of work for quantum shorts over the years. Jibo is one of the two people managing the Quantum Talent platform. And now you're going to be looking at the QCamp committee, wondering where Angelina is. So these are our committee members for this year's camp, 2025. And of course, PhD students have this terrible habit of finishing their PhD and graduating and going on to do other things. So Angelina was one of our star committee members for a number of years until she graduated. And maybe, Angelina, you can make yourself known. So Angelina's gone one better than being in the pictures and is here today. Okay, so lastly, if any of this interested you, if you spotted a course you want to take, or if you want to watch the videos or read the books, each of these initiatives has its own website, so I invite you to explore these. And if you want to hear about everything that the Centre's doing, including the science, of course, then you can find us on cqt.sg or on our social media channels. Thank you.